for the national anthems. England 4 days into a fortnight of intensive preparation for a vital World Cup game in Greece, where Germany, of course, have already won. And the suggestion that maybe with one or two exceptions that this will be the starting lineup against Greece. And let's look at that formation against Mexico for England with Peter Beardsley.
Yeah, it's a good back five there. I think Martin Keown, I know for a fact, is delighted to be back. You know, he's a bit sort of unthought of in the last 3 months. He didn't think he was going to recover and get back into the England setup at the end of the season. Nigel Martin, who came on against Spain, saved a penalty in that game, will be pleased to be back. And I think that is a strong back five. Rio Ferdinand has done really well. I think the midfield is really strong. Emil Heskey, who did well against Finland on the left-hand side, will be asked to do the same again tonight. And I think it's a big bonus to have Steven Gerrard fit. Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler, what hasn't been said about them two in the last month is unbelievable, really. They are an amazing strike force, but surprisingly the first time they've started together for England. Now the Mexicans, we expect Scholes to be the deep one of the three behind Beltran and Oteo. The midfield four, I don't expect them to venture too far forward. You know, Xavi on the right and Marco Ruiz on the left. I expect them to sit pretty much and allow Rodriguez and Abundes to try and join De Negri as much as possible.
Well, Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler and Emil Heskey scored 63 goals for Liverpool between them this season. But never in Liverpool's 63 games have all three of them started.
I find that hard to believe. You know, I think Sven-Göran Eriksson referred to that, and he thought that maybe the three of them had played
together. They've been on, of course, during matches, but not in the starting 11.
Yeah, it is amazing, you know, when you look at the quality that they possess. But it just shows how good Liverpool have been as a whole this season.
Well, England are ready. The Mexicans just congregating for the now familiar huddle.
Robbie Fowler will be looking forward to this. He scored against Mexico at Wembley. I think it was Glenn Hoddle's first friendly, so I was lucky enough to be at that one. and I think that might have been his first international goal, actually.
It was.
So
It was.
you know, we'll be looking forward to this.
Mexico must have been honoured by the invitation to play in England, because otherwise it's a mystery why they're here. Next week they defend the Confederations Cup, a FIFA tournament in South Korea, and Pride Park is hardly on the way. Instead of flying west straight across the Pacific to Seoul, they have gone, or will have gone in the end, 3/4 of the way around the world to fit this fixture into their schedule. England kick off. And here's Owen, looking to carry on his hot streak, which of course involved the World Cup qualifiers as well as the marvellous last few weeks for his club. Marco Ruiz. Mateo. The Mexicans are absolutely delighted with the conditions that they found here. And not too friendly to start with. Even Gerrard came in at pace.
That's not a surprise, Martin, is it? That boy loves a tackle.
Maybe concerned about the captain, who was dispossessed by Marco Ruiz. Heskey. He's got a very happy experience of playing on this ground. He got a hat-trick here for Liverpool. He scored 2 headers in a game here for Leicester, which his former club won 4-0. Mateo playing his first international for more than 2 years. Beckham has only missed one of the 17 for England.
He is good like that, David Beckham. He only seems to miss games when Alex Ferguson gives him a rest. You know, he's a great player to have in that situation.
England feinting and dummying, and in the end it acts as a total distraction to the home side rather than the team they were trying to confuse.
Very unusual, Martin, for that to happen, even at this early stage of the game.
Beckham, Fowler on the move. So too is Philip Neville. The ball beats them both. Michael Owen is the subject of our player cam for Sky digital viewers on 404, channel 404 of the digital system. Scholes to Ashley Cole, of course, made a very encouraging debut in Albania. The Arsenal left back. Gerrard. Scholes need to strike one. Oh! My goodness, didn't he strike one?
Absolutely fantastic goal. He scored so many important goals for England. He joined in so well, joins up the front. What a magnificent strike. That must have been all of 25, 27 yards. Great first-time ball, good movement, lay-off by Gerrard, and a fantastic strike. Nobody would have saved that. What a great start for England.
Well, strangely, when you look at Paul Scholes' record, which is wonderful, of course, for his country, he seemed to save his big goals for the big games, the competitive games. He's only scored once before in a so-called friendly, and that was getting on for 4 years ago. But, well, that is picture book stuff for the Scholes scrapbook, for the England scrapbook. England 1, Mexico 0.
As you say, Martin, he does tend to do that, you know, save it for the big games for club and country. But that is a great start for England.
Neville being the better of Abundis. Rodriguez quickly on the scene. His shot strikes Rio Ferdinand. Rodriguez again. And come England again. And Michael Owen just runs out of room.
Great ball by David Beckham. The length of the field, almost cross field. Unlucky Michael Owen, he read the situation well. Defender was very lucky.
And the defender is Beltran, who's played against Owen before in the World Youth Tournament in Malaysia in '97. Mexico lost that game to a Michael Owen goal. Beltran remembers it very well indeed.
Yeah, that's probably what's frightening him.
There he is. Plays for the UNAM club. It's only his 7th cap. And as I said, there have been a lot of changes. They haven't played, oddly for Mexico, for just over a month when they were involved. They're still involved in the final phase of the Central Northern America qualifying for the World Cup. A lot of work to be done in that group for them. Beckham. England have made a fast start. Gerrard. There's no offside. Robbie Fowler, the goalkeeper didn't get there, and unfortunately for Fowler, he just couldn't cushion the header into an unguarded net.
Yeah, I think that's right. He did try to cushion it. He knew the goalkeeper was coming. Great cross by Steven Gerrard. Maybe a hint of offside, not against Fowler, but the other two. And he did try and cushion it, but unfortunately just over the bar.
Coyote pressed by Beckham. Suarez with all the know-how for the 150-plus international games just got there. Coyote was totally unaware of Beckham pressing him. At the moment, Mexico are not at the races. Which is good news for England fans. Owen. No chance to get on the ball with Rodriguez. A touch from the ponytailed De Nigris, who's been talking to agents today in the team hotel about maybe a move to Europe. Rodriguez. 16 is Coyote, one of those who played at Wembley 4 years ago. Mexico have never scored a goal against England in England, which makes being behind so early a bit of a problem historically. This is only the 4th meeting here.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be good news for us, man. At the moment, the Mexicans are having trouble coping with England. England are playing at a very fast pace, which is great to see.
Marco Ruiz looking for Rodriguez, out by Philip Neville. Scholes, Keogh just easing it on. Heskey distracted Beltran. Fowler's on the move. Again, there's no offside. And here's Beckham.
The movement at the start of the game, Martin, from England, from the front three in particular. Heskey's allowed to drift in from the left. It's been fantastic.
Well, that's good front play by De Nigris to pick out Abundis. Well, De Nigris snatched at the shot, but at least the approach play was more controlled, more positive, and a better shot, and England would have had really their first problem of the evening.
Yeah, that's right, man. As I said, you know, Rodriguez is trying to join De Nigris along with Abundis, and that's probably going to be the problem they're going to have. They're not going to have enough numbers up there to cause England too many problems.
Keogh. And Ashley Cole, they were winners here last month with their club. There's a lot of players in the England team who've got happy memories of Pride Park in the Premiership. Fowler got a couple of goals here for Liverpool 2 years ago. As we've already talked about. Fowler to Gerrard. Now Beckham. For Philip Neville to cross it. The real height, of course, is with Heskey deep. Fowler trying to knock a header down towards Owen or Scholes. Away by Coyote, a midfield man who's having to prop up the back line at the moment. Beckham. Gerrard whipping it into Scholes. Terrific pass, and Beckham's gone offside.
Unlucky, man. Magnificent football from England. Being very patient, trying to suck the Mexicans out. Again, it was good skill. David Beckham was unlucky. Looked as though he might have just strayed offside. Yeah, he just strayed offside. Good decision by the referee's assistant.
Ortega. Here's Fowler. Owen will get there first. Oh, Fowler's unmarked to then get the cross in. Beckham so good normally at picking out an attacker. Couldn't find Fowler then.
No, that's right, he was in a lot of space, and you would have expected David Beckham to normally hit him there. Robbie Fowler, great movement after laying Michael Owen in, going in at the far post, but the cross was just too high for him.
Here's Suarez. Rodriguez, Victor Ruiz. That's classily cut out by Cole. Gerrard. England very much in the groove. A lot of these players, I think, realise they're only going to get 45 minutes to express themselves in tonight because of the promised changes by Sven-Göran Eriksson.
That's a great thing for the manager. He could have told them at the start, just go out and give it your best for 45 minutes without any pressure. And it looks as though that's the case at the moment.
But here's Rodriguez finding a bit of space in behind the England midfield. Marco Ruiz, Benigris, and the deflection. Ball to be hauled in by Martin, which he did quickly and competently, as was the distribution as well. Fowler. Heskey coming from the left. He might have a clear run on goal here, Emil Heskey, but he doesn't do the driving attack in from the angle. He wanted to be unselfish in his play.
Yeah, another great move by, I was going to say Liverpool. It's fantastic, the movement from them front three. It really is good to see.
Gerard Houllier will be watching this with interest as a way of getting all three of them, of course, into a Liverpool lineup. There's Benigris. It comes for Victor Ruiz. Off the goalkeeper, Abundis, knocked away by Nigel Martin. Victor Ruiz again, who hit the initial shot. He's the set-piece specialist for Mexico, and it was a moving ball to strike them, but he struck it in menacing fashion as Mexico begin to give a better account of themselves.
Yeah, that's right. A fantastic strike. Nigel Martin does well just to get his body in front of it. It just bounces in front of him. He does well, and then initially it comes out, and then Victor Ruiz is on the rebound. Just a bit of a scare for England there. It's just make them aware of the situation that can happen.
Well, England leading through a scorcher from Paul Scholes.
I think the combination of Gerrard and Scholes is going to be very good tonight. I think they've complemented each other so far. There's always been one deeper than the other, and I think that's going to work well for England.
Abundis. On from Coyote. Back to him by Chavez, who's starting for Mexico for the first time tonight, only his second cap. On the right-hand side of midfield, the figure of Rodriguez has got a few touches more than most in the difficult opening 10 minutes.
That's the thing about them. We saw last night with the under-21s, they are prepared to be patient, little 5-10 yard passes, and that's why they're such a danger at times.
Two waiting in the centre if Mexico can work the position for the cross. Mexico working hard with the help of Heskey to stop that happening. And even get the throw.
Yeah, good play by Heskey, read the situation, was back out on his left back, did a good job for the team.
Scholes has delightfully done the touch, the turn, the pass. Neville has just got ahead of one or two other candidates to play at right back, notably Jamie Carragher. Steven Gerrard, Fowler coming into the centre. England have two. Again, Liverpool very much to the fore. Mexico have no answer to this.
Yeah, fantastic. A brilliant ball initially from David Beckham. Steven Gerrard read the situation well, knew it was a first-time ball required. Great ball and a fantastic finish from Robbie Fowler. Just a great start for England. The quality of everything there. Two 40-yard passes ends up in a great goal for England.
Well, the pace, the passing, and the adroitness at the end of it, just guided home by Fowler in definitive fashion. His 4th goal for England against the country, as Peter Beardsley pointed out earlier, against whom he scored his 1st goal for England, and that's well over 4 years ago now. Of course, the chances have been few and far between to be certainly in the starting lineup in the intervening years. Had a couple of difficult ankle injuries as well that's kept him out of the international limelight, but when you think he's compared with Michael Owen at Liverpool, they still say that Fowler is the most natural finisher.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Robbie Fowler tonight, you know, he scored 3 goals in the last week of the season. He must have so much confidence, and he has started so brightly even without the goal.
Well, Sven-Göran Eriksson has been taking extra English lessons, but he's managed to get his points across, hasn't he, so far?
He certainly has. That goal there, the 2 passes from Beckham and Gerrard were fantastic. A lot of people say they're the 2 best crosses in the Premier League. It certainly looked like it on those 2 passes.
Rodriguez. Victor Ruiz. And almost getting it inside Phil Neville, who stuck out a foot. Stopped the pass reaching Abundis.
He did well to recover there, Phil Neville, because before the ball got switched to the right, he was the one that lost the ball almost on the halfway line, and he made up a lot of ground to recover.
Here's Victor Ruiz, the set-piece specialist, in charge of the corner. Coyote. And later Chavez back as cover. Two goals for England, 2 tremendous goals at Pride Park. Beckham. Goalkeeper's coming out and helped out Oteo. And Rodriguez as well, who went all the way with Valdo Sanchez, who's establishing himself as Mexico's #1. A successor to the colourful Jorge Campos, who had that job for so many years and was very comfortable coming outside his Peltier. He was a very good outfield player as well, you might recall, and played in goal wearing the #9 because of his striking origins.
Yeah, he certainly enjoyed coming out of his box, as we saw with the under-21 goalkeeper last night. You know, they just enjoy being involved in the game.
Well, England are enjoying being involved in this. Gerrard nearly for Scholes, but Fowler's backing it up. Well, yet again it was a shot on target. It needed a tremendous reaching save by Sanchez to keep it out and stop England going 3-up.
Yeah, another great ball by Steven Gerrard, who just got cut out, broke to Robbie Fowler. Fantastic strike. The goalkeeper maybe went with the wrong hand there, but managed to turn it around the corner.
Behind on the challenge from Ferdinand by Suarez.
I'm sure in the first sort of 18-20 minutes that Sven-Göran Eriksson will be absolutely delighted with the way they've played. The football, the passing, the movement has been exceptional.
Beckham's corner, requiring more work from the goalkeeper. And, it was a colourful save, reaching forward, unorthodox by maybe European standards, but necessary. Maybe time to point out that Mexico's record defeat was in England at Wembley, 8-0 in the early 1960s. And they keep going at this. Might be a new low mark on there.
It wouldn't be a surprise. Certainly the chances England are creating, the football they're playing, it really is good, and the score could be anything, certainly on a going forward sense.
Owen. Heskey. Ashley Cole's not shy in using the attacking side of his game. Give to Owen, not to get back, but certainly a go from Cole, because he's still waiting if Scholes wants to play it to him, but he goes for Owen instead. Ashley Cole is there, but it's snatched from his toe by Sanchez, who is a beleaguered goalkeeper who's getting precious little cover.
Yeah, he did well there, Sanchez. Another great move, fantastic football, great ball into Michael Owen, good header and a great save. Did well to recover the second ball.
Bundis is offside. Well, if you want to follow a particular player, don't forget our player cam facility on our interactive coverage, Sky Digital channel 404, and David Beckham is the man in the spotlight. The man is quite used to being in the spotlight.
Yeah, and I think he quite enjoys it.
I think if you were shy and retiring, you'd go to a different hairdresser, wouldn't you?
And it's also, like you said, about the boots and the haircut. You have to be a good player. He's certainly that.
Yes, he's wearing the haircut and the boots well so far. But everyone for England on song at the moment. Ferdinand emphasising the confidence with a little chip ball across. And the comfort of a 2-0 lead and a feeling of domination.
Looks fantastic when you look around the ground to see all the red and white. It really is special.
Well, many traditionalists were a bit fearful about the demise of the old Wembley and what it would mean, but I must say, having travelled around with England since the last game beneath the Twin Towers, everywhere the team has been, the reception's been magnificent and the performances have been pretty good as well.
Yeah, I think the players, you know, as a player you would like to play at Wembley every week, but I think to come here is fantastic.
Ruiz can't get up. Gerrard on the ball again, the young player of the year. What a season he's had. He's played 50 games for Liverpool as well. We should point out those injury scares maybe something now in his past. Cole, another of the young generation that makes it such an exciting time for Sven-Göran Eriksson to take over the England setup.
Yeah, that's right. I was talking to Todd Grip downstairs and he said the amount of youngsters coming through. He highlighted Jermaine Pennant last night, who came on for 45 minutes and was outstanding.
That's what a few days he's had from the Youth Cup final. One of our cameras a week ago on under-21s international, outstanding debut.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be involved with under-16s England about 18 months ago, man, and we knew he was going to be a special player, but we didn't realise it would be this quick.
Victor Ruiz doing well under pressure from Heskey to get it wide. This is Chavez. Bit too obvious. Scholes got the block. Gerrard again. And it's a disappointment the way England are playing when the pass just lacks the total precision. It wasn't too far off being another killer ball.
No, that's right. As you say, they've set the standard now, and if they drop below it, the crowd will be disappointed.
Coyote. Rodriguez. Always a nice passing style to Mexico's football, traditionally as a nation, and here's maybe a finish from it from Denigris. And again, Nigel Martin shows that there is competition really in every position for England places.
Yeah, Denigri took this ball well on his chest. Magnificent left-handed save. Did well to get his hand so low down to get that ball.
Heskey. Touches not the ball too far ahead.
He'll be disappointed there. Heskey got himself in a great position. Great first touch. Second touch just took it away from him.
I think England had already lost Sol Campbell and Gary Neville and Nicky Barmby. Andy Cole not considered because he's suspended from the Greece game. Then Wes Brown and Ray Parlour pulled out through injury. Steve McManaman needed by Real Madrid this weekend. Add those to the 20-odd players who are involved tonight, and the future does look bright.
It certainly does, and it's great sitting here as an England fan to watch a performance like this.
Also Marco Ruiz. Mexico spoiled by the offside trap. Between being rather shell-shocked in their own half of the pitch, they have put together one or two moves to keep the England defenders on their toes, and certainly the England goalkeeper, Nigel Martin, tonight has distinguished himself in his opening 25 minutes, despite England being the bosses.
Yeah, I think Nigel will be really delighted. I know he was disappointed in Euro 2000.
Owen finding Beckham. He finds Owen. Blocked by Beltran. Gerrard. Beckham. Oh, it came to Owen, and well, it shouldn't have come to him. That's why he was taken by surprise.
Yeah, it was a bit like the John Terry one, which happened from a corner last night. It just bounced, and we tried to guide it across the goalkeeper, and it just fell in front of him. You can tell Michael's disappointed there. He knows he maybe should have scored.
Beltran slow to pick himself up. He's just jogging back into some sort of position. Mexico need all their defenders to be fully compos mentis. It obviously shook him, caught him on the head, and passing to Owen. Down on his haunches again. England are not likely to show much sympathy here. Beckham making a lot of ground. Robbie Fowler round the back. Gerrard! He couldn't reach back and turn it in.
Great ball from Paul Scholes initially. Out to David Beckham. Michael Owen makes a couple of good runs and then checks again. Robbie Fowler at the back post. Great header across. Steven Gerrard just in it slightly too early.
Full cry again. And so too are the England fans in the East Midlands.
The stadium is built for an atmosphere like this, Martin, and they're enjoying the football.
England's attempts rising. The Wembley development, or lack of it, represents the downside of that aspect of English football, ground development in this country, but Pride Park is the other side of the coin. Built just 46 weeks at a cost of £16 million, which might sound a lot, but it isn't very much when you compare the sort of monies that are being talked about to get a new national stadium going on the Wembley site. Marco Ruiz. England work back, they double up on the left-sided player for Mexico to England. Beckham. Mateo, that's play below international standard, it must be said, and England looking to make the most of it. Owen impeded.
I was surprised there. I thought that was good defending. You know, was it Beltran or Suarez? It was good defending, and I thought he did well just to stand his body in front of him. I would have thought
Beltran, and he's the player who was who damaged himself in trying to cut out that cross which reached Michael Owen. And, they are short of experienced backups here, Mexico. He's going to soldier on.
I don't think it's a surprise that he's going to be taking the free kick, is it, David Beckham? It's made for him.
He's got his first England goal in England, of course, which happened at Anfield in March against Finland. Beckham steps up again, scores! One from the David Beckham portfolio.
Absolutely fantastic. I said it was made for him. absolutely first class. No goalkeeper would have saved that. The way he gets the ball up and down over the wall is just a joy to watch. Fantastic goal. I think if that was an English war, we wouldn't be too happy, would we? The way they turned their back there. But all credit to David Beckham.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about him in the build-up to this game in terms of fashion, but his football doing the talking. It's England 3, Mexico 0.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. The fans must be delighted. You know, we did say that this would maybe be the team just for the first half, but they've really gone out and put on a show.
3 goals in the opening half an hour. Scholes, Fowler, Beckham. Top players at the top English clubs, and it's a top-level showing.
It is amazing when you consider there's only, I think it's only 4 teams involved here really in terms of English teams, and it's the 4 teams that did so well in Europe for us. You know, the 3 in the Champions League with Arsenal, Manchester United and Leeds, and then obviously Liverpool and the UEFA Cup. It's been a fantastic season for these 4 teams.
And they still managed to be the top 4 in the Premiership as well.
Yeah.
And it certainly hasn't sapped the energy levels, has it? I know some might say Manchester United have had a leisurely time since the Premiership was clinched, and maybe the result has rather reflected that. Yeah, Liverpool certainly haven't, and the Liverpool boys are really buzzing here.
Well, that's right. Sven-Göran Eriksson said that on Monday. He was surprised how fresh they were. You know, that's all credit to Gerrard with his backroom staff, Phil Thompson, Sammy Lee, who's now involved here. It's absolutely brilliant for them.
Heskey. Some tumbling.
It was amazing how fresh Liverpool seemed to be over the later stages of the season. In a lot of the games they were behind in the cup final to Arsenal, but they managed to pull it out when it mattered.
Yes, the second half showing at Charlton, of course, in the game that clinched 3rd place after a very tentative beginning, which made you think they might be tired. It was anything but. They blew Charlton away in the second period. Mexico are suffering a similar fate in the first half here against a very energetic England. Fowler. It's fair to say that the 100% start of Sven-Göran Eriksson is going to continue tonight. And played 3-1-3 up to this point.
As you say, it would be a major surprise if it didn't now, even though there's going to be changes at half-time.
Scholes. Cole. Heskey. Strength. Fowler. Good advantage played by the referee. Beneficiary was David Beckham. This time he couldn't quite get the range right, but he certainly did with his party piece from the free kick from this angle.
Yeah, it's unbelievable really. We know he's got the knack of doing that, but he's done it so often in the past that he just keeps on doing it and doing it. You can tell by his reaction when he first strikes the ball, he almost knows it's going in the goal. This one he'll be disappointed with. You can tell by his reaction afterwards that he is disappointed with that.
But if you've been following David Beckham on the player cam, Sky Digital viewers would have had that different and informative view of the great Beckham moment. Now that facility has switched to Steven Gerrard.
Hopefully with the same result.
I think he scored 10 goals for Liverpool this season, so tell you that that part of his game is in good working order in the UEFA Cup final to reach double figures and very nearly reaching his first England goal tonight.
Yeah, as I was saying at the start, it's a big bonus to have Steven Gerrard in there. You know, when Sven-Göran Eriksson said it would be maybe starting line up against Greece, it was a big bonus for him to be there.
Well, certainly Nigel Martyn has staked a claim to be there as well. David Seaman, of course, played in the two World Cup qualifiers into Finland and away in Albania. Owen scored in both those matches.
Yeah, Nigel Martyn will be really pleased. You know, he did really well at Villa Park when he came on. As we said, saving a penalty, but he's been fantastic so far tonight. It's hard when you're a goalkeeper keeping your concentration, but he's done that incredibly well.
Scholes. Victor Ruiz. Ruiz is not related. Suarez. Coyote. And Bundis. He's got a good left foot, and England totally aware of his strengths. He just shifted it to one side, the stronger side. And in the end, although Keown defended the first attempted shot, England concede a free kick.
Yeah, not dissimilar to the David Beckham position, but I'd be surprised if the quality is half as good.
Well, the Mexicans will tell you this fella is somebody to behold at set pieces. He's scored 4 international goals, which is more than David Beckham has got for England. And he gets it on target with a bit of dip and a bit of zip about it as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad strike, but I think Nigel Martyn was ready for it. You know, he did well again to get it up and over the wall, but Nigel Martyn made it look comfortable.
He did that by kicking pretty straight through the ball as well, rather than coming side on, instepping it.
It was surprising. Maybe I take back what he said.
Well, have a word with him, Peter, and get the skill to take up to your kids at the Newcastle Academy.
Yeah, it is a big part of the game now, free kicks and corners, set pieces.
Owen. Knowing Michael Owen and his single-minded approach, if he's taken off at half-time and he's not a scorer, although he'll say all the right things about the team doing well inwardly, it will just ache a little bit.
It certainly will, because his England record is fantastic. You know, again, he's a bit like Paul Scholes, scores in the big games, and will be disappointed if he does come off without a goal at half-time.
10 goals, all scored in 10 different games, which tells you that he spreads his talent around the big matches. He's not one who rises up the tally by getting a big haul against a weaker nation.
No, that's right, and he's done it a couple of times, I think, when he's came on as a sub as well. So he's got so many qualities now that he's adding to his game all the time.
Coyote again. Suarez trying to move into midfield and maybe give Mexico a bit of extra impetus. But the risk of doing that is that England can spring forward so quickly. Suarez is trying to get back, but he'll be pleased that the pass is beyond the redress of Philip Neville. He's been involved with Manchester United, and he started the last 5 games for them. Not always, of course, in Sir Alex Ferguson's first choice nominations.
He's a bit like Nicky Butt, isn't he, where he's such a great team player, but not always a regular. You know, Nicky Butt because of Roy Keane, but they have a fantastic setup at Manchester United.
That's seen as a foul by Gerrard and Victor Ruiz. Across this time to Nigris, turned back into Paul Scholes territory. Beckham. He's gone to the right hand side. Neville coming onto the ball, gets there first.
David Beckham.
Sorry, Peter, just to give our viewers a reminder of what's coming up on Sky Sports. The Scottish Cup final Saturday at 2, Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra. Celtic and Hibs, who both had very successful seasons. Scholes. Gerrard. Here's Marco Ruiz with Abundis outside. Igris is look threatening if they can get the ball to him, but they can't this time. Igris had a look at the referee, an angry look, but he didn't get a free kick. Scholes, foul. Now Beckham. Shirking tackle, false goals. Marco Ruiz did well to get out of the way then.
He did, I think he read it. Luckily, I think that's what is so good about the two in the middle of the field now, Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes. They are great at winning the ball back, and that is such a major part now.
After that, there was a foul by Rio Ferdinand, and another chance maybe for Victor Ruiz to challenge this 3-goal cushion that have impressively put together in the first half. Central position for the goalkeeper and for the free kick taken. Deflection takes the sting out of the situation for England.
Yeah, as you say, comfortable save in the end for Nigel Martin. Great position he took up.
Fowler. Real supporter is Heskey coming from the left. Beckham's getting there on the right, but probably not in Robbie Fowler's eye line. Fowler forced into an individual run, losing his way at the end of it.
Ashley Cole had made a lot of ground up on the left as well, and Emil Heskey's done a great job to fill in for him.
Bundis very nearly picked out. There was no flag. Beckham. Well, the assistant didn't know, and he was looking down the line. That was extraordinary.
He opted out.
He did, totally. Bottled out.
Unbelievable.
And look, the referee was staggered to find that he had no help, so he I suppose did the decent thing, gave the benefit of the doubt to the defending side.
Thought he'd forgot his flag.
Chavez. All is quick in the recovery. Said about Arsenal, they let the young players come through, or haven't had a recent good record of it. Ashley Cole gives the lie to that. So got that left back job ahead of the Brazilian Silvinho.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Newcastle drew with Arsenal 10 days ago, just after the cup final. He was outstanding. Although it was a 0-0 draw, he was all over the place. He was fantastic.
Suarez. Well, Mexico at times have been all over the place in a different sense in this first half.
They have, but it's amazing. They're still trying to keep the ball, you know. There is no rush to get the ball forward. It's not just kick and hope. It's good to see in some senses what they could do with something.
Marco Ruiz. Four in the centre for Mexico here. Bundis is one of those. Almost dropped for Denigris. Keown and Cole, the Arsenal pair, get it away. Suarez, this is promising for Mexico. Keown's header. And Ferdinand's. Back by Beltran. Philip Neville exercises his neck muscles. A little bit of petulance. Marcelo Cardoso, the fiddle from Portugal, is calming down the offender. Or trying to. Owen coming deep, and Sven-Göran Eriksson likes to split his strikers in his system in that way. Got 1 extra minute before half-time.
I think that's the great thing with the front three. They are able to switch and move about. Heskey's got that ability to come in off the line and join in, and he's done it very well so far.
And coming in to try and help England defend. It's a free kick conceded in stoppage time before half-time. Quickly taken by Abundis. And it'll be a corner. England can expect plenty of defending to have to do in Greece, so these situations are not what England supporters want to see. I'd like to see a continuation of the flow of the opening half an hour. It's an important workout for the back line as well, but it's been an impressive 45 minutes overall from the starting 11. Paul Scholes with a truly splendid shot to open the scoring early. Robbie Fowler from Steve Gerrard's pass of pace and precision guided in at his second, and after that the captain got his name on the score sheet with one of his classic free kicks. And at half-time at Pride Park, plenty of pride for number 19, and another teenager from the same club, Michael Carrick, also earns his first cap for England tonight. Gareth Southgate has come on with the captain's armband. David James is in goal. Jamie Carragher looks as though he's going to play in the centre of the defence. And Chris Powell at left back at Pride Park. There's Carragher, who's appearing for England on home soil for the first time, his third cap. A return to Pride Park, as I say, for Chris Powell, who had 2.5 years here. Played in the first season when the ground was open, 97-98, before moving on to Charlton. David James will recall that it was against Mexico in 1997 that he made his England debut at Wembley. And Mexico had brought on a couple of players who took part in that match. Davino, wearing number 5 at the back, and Pardo, who's on this near touchline, wearing number 13, to play on the right-hand side. Almost like a different game, certainly from England's point of view. And the public address announcer is going to keep going for a while, I think, to bring the people in the stadium up to speed.
Probably till the end of the game.
Smith's name. And we're going to have a closer look on the Sky Digital Channel 404 via the player cam at Alan Smith's first few minutes as a full international player. Carrick. Fowler. Cole. It's Joe Cole now, remember. Carrick. Here's Powell. Heskey staying on the left-hand side, and Nicky Butt is out there. I think we've neglected to mention him. He's, of course, been very involved since Sven-Göran Eriksson took over as England coach. I talked in the first half about players who've got happy memories of Pride Park with their clubs. Nicky Butt comes into that category. He scored a couple of goals here for Manchester United in recent seasons.
It's a big bonus for Sven-Göran Eriksson to be in a position they're in, that he could make 8 changes, and he's still got another couple on the bench he can use.
Victor Ruiz. How will Mexico fare against this restructured England setup? But I think it's very good, Peter, in the way that he's made all the changes at half-time, so we haven't got a staccato second half of stops and starts while they're sort of trickling on the changes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is a good idea. As you say, sometimes when it's 1 and 2 at a time, it can cause problems and spoil the game.
Rodriguez. Here by Bundis. Trying to earn Mexico a corner, but in the end, England get a throw. Jamie Carragher was the player who did the defending. He's taken part in 58 of Liverpool's 63 matches in a variety of positions, primarily as a left back. He finished the season for his club at right back at the Valley, but he can play all the way across the back line, and he's central at the moment at Pride Park with the right back Philip Neville on the move outside of Joe Cole. Powell. Heskey.
It's great for the 3 new lads that are winning the first cap. It is fantastic. In many ways, it's probably better for them that they're playing at Pride Park rather than at Wembley. A little less pressure, but a great occasion nonetheless.
Letting it run. Maybe Michael Owen might have anticipated that from their club understanding. But Smith finds Fowler now, who looks for Smith. Oh, what a chance for Joe Cole. Very good save. But what, inside 4 minutes of his first international, he was coming in unattended.
Yeah, fantastic play by Alan Smith. Gives it to Robbie Fowler, who was very unselfish. Maybe meant for Alan Smith initially, but Joe Cole, he hasn't scored there. What a dream start that could have been.
Just now sent crashing to the ground, Joe Cole, and he actually broke his leg here a year ago playing for West Ham. Could have broken the back of the net with this. Went for placement.
He'd be thinking he should have dinked that now. If he was at West Ham, he probably would have.
Mexico are pushing out, the flag goes up.
Great for Howard Wilkinson this as well, to see all the under-21s that are progressing. Great for the country. As we said earlier, Tour Grip delighted, but it's fantastic.
Well, England continuing to carve out the chances. I mentioned that 8-0 Mexico's record defeat at Wembley. It was 40 years ago this month. Bobby Charlton got a hat-trick, and Bobby Robson was amongst the scorers for England that day.
Very good.
I bet he remembers all about it too.
You'll probably be telling me and I'll know all about it when we next
Yes. Suarez, Pardo. 2 players that Mexico have brought on, incidentally, are part of their more senior setup, left out to give others a chance tonight. Probably pretty glad they were left out of that first half.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty relieved. It might be a bit slower the tempo in the second half, and that might suit them.
Rodriguez. Benitez. Coyote. Now Marco Ruiz. Victor Ruiz. He had a couple of very good shots in the first half that troubled Nigel Martin. Now it's David James who, that's put in, well, it wasn't in the end, but it was a hand that was inclining to the ball from De Nigris.
Yeah, I think the referee's maybe going to have a word with him. Maybe thought it would have been a clever goal, but the referee was having none of it. Initially, because he didn't blow, he just allowed it to be a goal kick. Thought he hadn't seen it, but he obviously did spot it.
Suarez with the header. Oteo. Benigris. So Marco Ruiz couldn't carry it forward from Mexico. Others are getting in, and they're starting to do a bit of pressing on England. This much changed England for the second half. Smith. On from Joe Cole to Robbie Fowler. He assumes a status of a senior citizen for the second half, and is already dropping off and working for the good of the younger players who've come on around him. Younger, well, Robbie's only 26 himself, but there are some very raw England recruits. Some players of huge potential. Fowler again, taking on the responsibility, showing to get the ball from the throw. Now he's going to be involved in taking the corner. Work short with Joe Cole. The referee gets in the way, and Chris Powell has to scurry back, and even if it wasn't a foul, he was going to get a free kick then, I think.
Yeah, exactly what I thought myself, Martin. No doubt he was going to give a free kick there. Chris Powell did well, he got the referee out of the hole.
But
Michael Carrick's made a great start. I know it's only been 6 or 7 minutes, but he's made a great start.
Yes, he's one that got away from Newcastle United.
Yeah, and don't we get reminded of it?
Well, you've just another reminder, and so has the nation. Born in Newcastle.
Yeah, it's often the case, you know. I mean, Alan was a case in point.
Well, Robbie Fowler, his stay in the second half was a short one, and enter the double award winner of the season that's coming to a close, Teddy Sheringham. Players' Player of the Year, the Footballer of the Year, voted by the football writers, and maybe news of his future shortly to be announced.
Yeah, and if it is the case that he's going to Tottenham, what a great coup for Glenn Hoddle. He's done brilliant there. Fantastic player, you know, so fit, looked after himself, fully deserves the 2 awards he's got.
So we've got a new SAS up front, Smith and Sheringham.
Yeah, and could be a good combination. Sheringham has got the ability to play with anybody. You know, he is a magnificent player.
Heskey. Powell. Suarez having to turn. Alan Smith, at his most competitive, might have just come bundling in at the back. It's a strange situation. He can play for the senior side in Greece if selected in 12 days' time, but he's not eligible for the under-21 game the night before because he's suspended from that competition.
Yeah, that's right. And had there not been talking about his disciplinary record earlier this week, had he been in a Leeds shirt, I think our defender could have felt like something there. But as Alan Shearer said earlier, that is a big part of his game. You wouldn't want to take that away from him. He is a fantastic player, and that is an important part.
He's just got to learn how far he can go and not cross that line as often as he has done. 3 red cards in various competitions this season.
I think the one he got at Sunderland, he was hard done by. I genuinely do. I know the one in Europe he probably deserved against Valencia, but the one at the Stadium of Light, certainly in my opinion, wasn't deserved.
The other one was for the under-21s in Finland. That is suspension from that. Is what he's still serving at the lower level.
That is strange, that, isn't it? That you can be suspended at under-21 but not for the seniors.
The difference, Peter, is the under-21s is a UEFA competition, right, and the World Cup, of course, is a FIFA competition.
Yeah, well, that explains it for me, Martin.
Suarez turns away in frustration. Ball forward by Butt. Oteo was covering the run of Smith. Rodriguez. Now Pardo. England getting around him, and Heskey playing a part again. He's worked for the team cause. Some strikers wouldn't like to be stuck out in a wide position, but he doesn't seem to come into that category. Bundis had to do it all himself. Cleared by Philip Neville. Only a minor point, but it must be nice for both Southgate and James to come on together on a night where David James could have started and Southgate could have been in the second half team. A little bit of a club understanding there. Yeah, I mean, another change for Mexico. Well, England can relax a bit more if they concede a free kick outside the penalty area, because the Mexican expert Victor Ruiz is coming off. And on comes Daniel Osorno from the Atlas Club in Guadalajara.
Yeah, just going back to Southgate and James, they had a disappointing end to the season at Newcastle last weekend, where they really got murdered 3-0. Could have been a lot more. And David James, by his own admission, made a mistake that day, so he'll be pleased to get a game so quickly after that.
Davino to Ortega. Mark Ruiz. He's really 1 or 2 free kicks since he's come on, Nicky Butt.
Yeah, no surprise there. He does a great job. You know, whatever team he plays for, you always get the same from Nicky Butt.
Offside against De Nigris, the player who scored 3 times in his only 4 previous games for Mexico, and one of those goals was against Brazil. Possibly not at their best at the moment, as those World Cup qualifiers in South America are rather showing, but Mexico got a 3-3 draw with them, and De Nigris was one of their scorers. Mistake by Heskey. Going to be a bit too clever that time. Rodriguez and Bundis. But flying in again to try and win it back for England. And it's Chris Powell who gets it forward. Sharing him back to Kak. So far, and it's surely understandable, the second half team not quite matching the standards set by the starting lineup.
As we were saying, not a surprise, the tempo's dropped. You know, certainly the Mexicans are just quite happy keeping the ball. They'll be happy if it stays at 3-0, I think.
Rodriguez. Bundy's trying to let it run. He knew De Nigris was behind him. Coyote. Rodriguez is offside.
He's unlucky. It must have been a close decision that took up a great position on the right hand side. Rodriguez, quality ball, and luckily just offside.
De Nigris. He was a long way out, but he was prepared to have a crack. He does know that he's being watched tonight with a possible move to the European League. And Southgate has to clear it away as Mexico try and up the ante a little bit.
Yeah, that's 3 times in a row in the last sort of 20-30 seconds. Emil Heskey give the ball away needlessly.
Davino making the run towards the near post and getting his head to it.
Emil Heskey's probably thinking, why can't he have a rest? He's played a lot of games this season for Liverpool. He's probably wishing the season was over, but as we said earlier, he's done a good job on this left-hand side. I think he's just getting a bit tired now.
Well, Derby County have done a wonderful job staging this international, and a record attendance for their efforts. Great pictures from our airship of the very pleasing sight that is the structure known as Pride Park.
Yeah, you can tell how proud the people are around the stadium, all the people in the and the club Blazers are delighted to have him in here.
Pardo. It's the Scottish Cup final tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Sky Sports 1, Sky Sports Extra. And those working up in that airship providing us with magnificent pictures. Plus the weather has been kind as well. And that might be about the only thing that the Mexicans will have enjoyed about their trip to England in a couple of days in splendid sunshine.
Yeah, normally the sort of foreign visitors like to have a trip around London, but they haven't even been able to have that this time.
They have been shopping today to a sports shop in Derby, and I'm told they bought a lot of shirts with David Beckham's name on the back.
Very good.
Maybe in future years they'll be buying shirts with Joe Cole's name on it, as the West Ham followers are, of course. Really, if he stays fit, I feel there's no limit to what Joe can achieve with the gifts he has in manipulating a football. I guess the hardest problem for him with England is to find the real position that he can compete for. Possibly Paul Scholes, who's still pretty young, is a big barrier to his progress.
Yeah, that's the problem. Sometimes, you know, we have got a lot of quality players, but the old story, you can only fit 11 into the team, and Paul Scholes, certainly in that position, is as good as anybody in the world in terms of getting forward, scoring goals. That is probably something that Joe Cole needs to add to his game on a regular basis. Joe
Cole certainly got time on his side. Will we ever get the day when Joe Cole, Ashley Cole and Andy Cole all play in the same game?
Well, it wouldn't be a surprise when you look at the quality they've got, you know, and the way that Sven-Göran Eriksson's trying things. You know, it would not be a surprise.
You'll learn a thing or two about commentating that night, Peter.
I'll just leave it to you.
Bundy's not too happy, I think, generally, that the referee has shown any sympathy towards Mexico, and he takes his frustration out on the ball itself, and a tremendous drive goal was, and David James wasn't caught off guard in the end.
But it so easily could have been a fantastic strike. Amazing, really. It looked as though he wasn't interested. He just hit an unbelievable shot. It was headed for the top corner, that's for sure.
Now it is a corner, and Bundis is not happy. He goes towards the near post. A touch on by De Nigris. Oh, Heskey! A penalty conceded by Emil Heskey. It was, if you like, a forwards challenge, and it wasn't very well judged. And he's brought down Osorno, one of the Mexican substitutes.
The referee was in a great position, and at the first thought, I thought it was a penalty, and having seen the replay, it was definitely. I was saying before about Emil Heskey hit a couple of lazy passes. There was no need to tackle him there. His first touch had been fantastic, and really there was no need to tackle him.
Mexico looking for their first goal against England. In England, they'll surely never have a better chance. It's Abundis. Oh no! For Mexico, oh yes for England.
Isn't that unbelievable? When you've just seen him hit the ball from 30-35 yards, Owen towards that top corner, and he hits a penalty like that. That is hard to believe. Amazing that that record's still intact.
Well, those expressions summed up that rather better than any words from us. Heskey is reprieved, but he's taken off. He had played the full 65 minutes. It may have been a tired tackle. And Danny Mills, who wasn't in the original squad but was called up because of an injury to Wes Brown, is now Danny Mills of Leeds United and England.
Yeah, great for him. That's why these games are so good. A lot of people say, why do they play internationals like this? This is the reason why. It's great for him. You know, England have had to change their formation now. They've pushed Phil Neville further forward on the right. Joe Cole's come across to the left instead of Heskey. But for people like Danny Mills, you can't buy this sort of thing.
Well, I remember, Peter, your first cap in Egypt, where Bobby Robson lost a lot of first-choice players, and there was a lot of criticism about whether we should have taken the fixture. I think it was in January, and look what it meant to you. It was the start of something very big.
Yeah, it was, and Danny Wallace made his debut in that game, scored a goal,
never played again.
So it just goes to show, you know, that is the amazing thing with football, and it's great for Danny Mills. He's had a great season at Leeds. A lot of people said he wasn't doing too well, but he's had a great season.
Mexico are doing a bit better in the second half, and Mills now having to try and curb Abundis. Oh, it's well taken by David James. That was certainly not the worst ball of the evening, and the goalkeeper was stretched to come out and dive forward, and did it well. Yeah,
he did do it well. It was a difficult ball to take. I think the size of him helped him, but he held on to it very comfortably in the end.
But too strong for Smith.
Because of the pace of the game, Alan Smith hasn't really had a kick of any note yet. He'll be disappointed. But as we were saying earlier about Joe Cole, he's got a lot of time on his side, Alan Smith.
Rodriguez. Suarez, well, some forwards don't relish a tackle, but Smith does. Suarez was on the receiving end there. Smith's attempt to win it back for England. Coyote. Carried off by Abundis. Goal with that capacity to change direction.
Yeah, he's as good as anybody in the Premier League at doing that. With either foot now, he's very accomplished.
Suarez up above Smith. All on the ball for England. Squeezing it back for Powell. Carrick. Played it, wanted to go and support, but saw that Nicky Butt was ahead of him in that, so need to double up. Mills. Flipped by Davino. But Sheringham. Out by Osona, the player that earned the penalty. Bundis, who took it disastrously. Bundis again. I just think, Peter, Sven-Göran Eriksson, this is his fourth game. Two opponents have missed penalties, Spain and Mexico, the two games that really mattered. David Seaman was allowed to make a save from Littman, and it could have been 2-2. England at home to Finland in the World Cup. That was a stroke of good fortune, and Albania had a perfectly good goal disallowed. It could have been 2-2 there. So we might not only have got a very good general, we might have got, the old saying goes, the real attribute, a lucky one.
Yeah, it certainly makes a difference. It plays a major part nowadays, and you know, what you say, in many ways he's had a great start, 4-4, but it could so easily have been the other way, and
that's the fine margins we're dealing with.
Yeah, it certainly are, and at this stage I'm sure he'd rather have the luck than not.
As Peter was saying, Danny Mills really had a very good season for Leeds, particularly the second half, because he got in when Gary Kelly needed an operation, but he stayed in.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes, again, you need a bit of luck to get in, and you have to have the ability to do that and stay there. You know, we played a lot of games at centre-half before they got Rio Ferdinand, and did a great job.
Carrick. Pass by Abundis. Rodriguez very close to getting in behind the England back line. Foul helped out by Southgate. Sheringham's header not collected by England, collected by Marco Antonio Ruiz. Sheringham. Phil Neville goes to the outside. The Manchester United link up here. Mexico have got a player down in the England half, but the referee letting the game go on with Mills. Now Joe Cole. Just got to be careful about being onside in the centre. Joe Cole with a touch of magic until it came to the pass. Wasn't perhaps quite the angle there for Mickey Butt to chase.
I think the game was split in two halves there. We had sort of 6v6 in the last third of the Mexican half, and they had 4 up against 4. They're obviously trying to get the next goal, try and bring them back into it, but really as a contest it's over.
Carrick, Sheringham. It is now, is of course a showcase, if possible, for some of the supporting cast. Sven-Göran Eriksson. Mexico still down to 10 men. With Osorno, I think it is, off getting attention to a head wound. Wow. Cole trying to mesmerise the Mexicans.
Could be a few fighting over this now that David Beckham's gone off.
With the seniority on his side, at least in terms of age. Teddy Sheringham, 35 last month. His first across to spot up the ball. The referee from Portugal wanting to get the ball back the proper distance. That's how far Sheringham is away from the goal itself. It is Teddy Sheringham! You don't need David Beckham. Sheringham blasted in England's fourth. And this super season that he's having has got yet another plus.
That was even better than David Beckham. I know that sounds hard to believe, but I think that may have even brushed the post on the way in. There's no way anybody would have saved that. That was absolutely fantastic. He just walked up to the ball, knew what he was going to do. Absolutely fantastic finish.
Well, the excellent and enduring skills of Teddy Sheringham. And the smile of appreciation from a master in those situations. So the England second string, if you like, have scored in their half of the evening. And it's 4-0 overall. Osorno with the bandage is now back on. Rodriguez.
Good for the crowd that as well, because they're going to be quiet. You know, they accepted that it was just going to be a stroll the second half, but that's woke them up again.
Oh, Denigris in behind Southgate. Across comes Carragher to allow Southgate to get another bite at it. Just switched off for a moment. Pardo, Rodriguez, Coyote.
Great for Philip Neville as well. It looks like he's going to be the only outfield player to stay on. And after what happened against Romania, you wouldn't have said that would be the case. No. So it's great for him. We said he was a great pro, and it's a fantastic bonus for him.
Smith.
What a strike that was, David James. He knew what he was doing. He aimed for Smith. He just wasn't able to take the ball.
Well, Teddy Sheringham might have wondered a year or so ago whether he'd ever play for England again. It's been bits and pieces, but he certainly was centre stage a couple of minutes ago, and he's herring into the centre again as Philip Neville looks to pick him out. That's Southgate keeping England on the front foot. Smith got a touch.
Yeah, I had a similar situation myself. And as you know, I was in exile for a while and thought that was the end of the Cats. but I got a chance to come back, and luckily for me I got 10 more.
Yeah, you were stuck on 49, weren't you?
Yes, I was, and I think Terry Sheringham might get a few more yet. He's been fantastic.
Here's the subject now of our player cam, Sky Digital viewers. Channel 404, he's into the 40s, 41 caps and 10 goals.
Well, you certainly wouldn't bet against him getting 50.
That's caps.
Yeah.
That's Coyote off, and David Rankel has come on in midfield. As Mexico ring the changes now. Rankel, one of a number of players in this squad known to Enrique Meza, the coach from the days together in club football with Toluca, who won 3 successive championships for Mexico, summer championships. They have a summer championship and a winter championship. They play a lot at club level as well as internationals. It really is a football crazy country, and they're probably underachievers in the world game, given the population, 100 million or so, and how much football does mean in that part of the world.
Yeah, we certainly know by the reaction they gave us in '86 when we went to the World Cup. They were magnificent. They loved the English football, and they really were supporting us as their second team in that occasion. It was fantastic for us to go over there. They were brilliant people.
Davino. They are in a transitional time in terms of their selection. Talents like Jorge Campos, Luis Hernandez, a fine striker on the wane. Blanco caught the eye in the finals of '98 in France. He's had a bad knee injury. Ramon Ramirez, an exciting left-sided player you might recall, had a bad car crash in December. So I would ask you maybe to look on this Mexican performance a little kindly. It is a strange set of circumstances, and as I say, they've got the Confederations Cup coming up. They've got important World Cup qualifiers, and then the Copa America. You'll be able to follow that, of course, on Sky Sports in July. Very busy schedule for Mexico, and for all of us. We're, of course, thrilled about that.
Yeah. And I think the Mexicans, in their own style of football, will do very well. You know, they're very confident they're going to qualify for the World Cup. They're in a good position at the moment, and it would be great to see them there.
One of their opponents in the group is Trinidad and Tobago, so they've got Dwight York coming at them in one competition, and Manchester United hitting them very hard here in the East Midlands tonight. Scholes, Beckham and Sheringham with 3 of the 4 goals, and Smith looking to make it 5. In goes Sheringham looking for another one.
That was similar to the football we saw in the first half. Good slick passing, good early attempt from Alan Smith, and it did well to get on target.
Pardo. Well, certainly for everyone in the stadium, I hope many of you watching, a great way to start the bank holiday weekend. We've got lots of live football for you, of course, over the weekend. Pop in from the sunbathing, right times.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The playoffs, you know, a lot of people have said it's more important than the World Cup to some of the lower division teams. You know, I know for Steve McMahon, it's a great occasion for them to go to Millennium Stadium.
That's Blackpool, of course.
It is absolutely amazing, really, what it means at the end of the day.
Rodriguez. Pardo, talk about Mexico as a football crazy country. We shouldn't forget that England is, and Todd Grip reminded us of that, didn't he? Talking, comparing England to Italy, where he has worked. And, we came out very well, England, in those comparisons.
Yeah, we did. He said before coming to England, he thought Italy was the best country for football, but he's changed his mind now with the quality of everything here, stadium, football, the pace of the game. He was very impressed with England.
And the fans, and I must say, and levels of behaviour too. Italy still has a crowd problem. Another change here, and Luis Perez, who was involved with the under-21s last night, was summoned in something of an emergency to bolster the Mexican squad here. So he's had a trip to remember to England as a young man. Played twice in 2 days. Oh, that's gone out. Yeah, the flag was up.
Yeah, he actually tipped it from the top of the net over, trying to get on with it. But he got a flag because when it went on the back of the goal and then came out from this cross by Chris Powell, he thought the referee was going to play on. Watch his reaction. He thinks he's going to play on. He's panicking.
Well, stranger things have happened in football.
Yeah, that's Clive Allen about that.
Clive Allen smashed one into the top corner, hit the stanchion, bounced back out. Referee didn't see it, no goal given. And his prodigious tally, which he's accounted right to the end of his career, he's one short.
Yeah, I bet he tells everybody it's still counted.
This is Bundis. Change from behind by Nicky Butt.
Yeah, Nicky Butt doesn't think it's a friendly. He's playing till the end.
And you bet he trains exactly the same way as he plays. Competitive.
Well, most managers I've worked with tell you that's the way it should be. You know, you should train how you play. Good habits. And he's certainly got plenty of those.
Luis Perez, the number 21, plays for Necaxa club you might recall that David Beckham came up against in that World Club Championship in Brazil, and Beckham got a red card. And there's a Bundis going to have another bang with the left foot. He does. He's obviously better from that range than he is from the penalty spot.
They often say free kicks, they can be too close to the goal sometimes, but that is another fantastic strike. David James quite comfortable in the end, but it was a great strike.
Coming towards the final 5 minutes at Pride Park, David James will want to have a shutout here like Nigel Martin did in the first half, and the big Aston Villa goalkeeper able to take command then.
Yeah, he is one of the best at doing that. You know, sees the situation early. He does make mistakes from time to time, but he learned a lot of Chris Grobbelaar because he always came, but was prepared to make mistakes. Sometimes you have to do that.
Here's Joe Cole. Mills. Carrick wanting it. He might be under pressure himself. He's that confident with the ball at his feet. And nice continuity play. One of the West Ham youngsters. Osuna. Look at that Carrick just flicking it up. Makes it look very easy, the game. It's a star of that Youth Cup winning team for West Ham only 2 years ago.
You tend to find the West Ham players play like that. You know, you think Frank Lampard's the same. You know, it's all side foot passing, quick movement. Joe Cole, they have a fantastic trio there. You know, there's talk of Frank maybe moving on, but it's great for them at the moment.
It's 4 forward for Mexico here. Perez really didn't make the most of his possession in that sort of position. Well, if he's looking a bit weary, Philip Neville, you can understand that. He's played all the 86 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah, it's certainly hard work at whatever level you play, and he has worked hard. He's changed the position once or twice, and again he's been very consistent. The amazing thing is he's probably only playing because his brother's injured. You know, that's how funny football is sometimes. They'll probably get the shirts mixed up when they get home.
Suarez, but saw him off. Now Nicky Butt is able to press on himself. He's got Joe Cole on the move outside him. Still Joe Cole. Smith. Cole again. Alan Smith! Oh! Well, both he and Joe Cole have not taken chances in their first taste of international football.
He'll be really disappointed. Great play between him and Joe Cole, initially Alan Smith, but he'll be disappointed there that he hasn't scored a goal. It was probably easier than Joe Cole's in the fact that it was on his good foot. He'll be really disappointed.
He seemed determined not to put his foot right through the ball and risk it flying over the bar, I guess, but it allowed the goalkeeper to keep it out.
I think he probably thought it was too easy. You know, it was just a case of tapping in. Great 1-2 here, and another great ball. Goalkeeper does well, gets up well, and makes a good save.
If you watch goalkeepers work, they practice this so often, coming in on the second one, and that sort of practice keeps the scoreline at least in manageable proportions.
Well, that's right, you certainly see 2 goals in the second half. To be honest, he couldn't have done a lot with all the goals that have gone in. They have been quality goals from England.
Sheringham. That's good work by Joe Cole again to get Chris Powell into a crossing position. Sheringham! Well, he is capable of scoring with a header from there. Terrific technique.
He's probably the one man on the field that could. You know, what you were talking about earlier in the move, Joe Cole with a change of direction with his feet again. Plays the ball at Chris Powell, good cross in, and a good powerful header by Teddy Sheringham.
Sorno. Gavino.
As you were saying about the Mexicans, we have to feel sorry for them a little bit, but to their credit, they're still trying to play football. They haven't changed their style. They haven't just hit the long ball hoping to get on the end of something. They're really trying to be patient, and they deserve a lot of credit for that.
We're into the 2 extra minutes. England, of course, move out of this country to a training camp at La Manga next week, and the following week, of course, it's the acid test away to Greece.
Yeah, it's a major game. You know, that is when the real pressure comes. Sven-Göran Eriksson has talked about, you know, this is a good build-up, but all that really matters is the game in Athens, as you say.
Go back to Walter Winterbottom, who I don't think actually picked the team, but was certainly the coach of it, organised it. Find an England coach who won his first 4 games in charge. Sven-Göran Eriksson is a matter of seconds away from completing a record that stands very good comparison.
Yeah, I must say that surprises me. You know, when you look at the quality teams England have had over the years, it is amazing that none of them have won 4 before this time.
Ben Hoddle did 3.
Yeah, again, that's a surprise because he had a good squad of players.
This is Joe Cole again. He might have missed his chance early in the second half, but he has missed an opportunity to catch the collective eye, and of course, most importantly, the eye of Sven-Göran Eriksson.
Yeah, he's had a good half. He's enjoyed it. Been comfortable on the ball, as we know he is, but he's been prepared to try things. And in a situation like that, that's what you need. Sometimes you need somebody that can come on and change the game. He's probably the best we've had at that since Gaza.
Pardo was for De Nigris. Pardo again. Mexico looking for some scraps right at the end here. They've got a corner with scarce time to take it.
I think the referee's going to be a bit lenient and let them have a corner.
Up comes Davino. Oh, De Nigris. Well, that is as close as they've come.
Yeah, it hit Joe Cole, that. It hit Joe Cole, may have even hit him on the arm, man.
And that's what De Nigris was saying.
It actually hit him on his left arm.
The arm down by his side. But England have got their clean sheet. And it's 4 wins out of 4 for Sven-Göran Eriksson. It's 4 wins out of 4 for England at home to Mexico. And 4 goals tonight, number 4 from Teddy Sheringham in the second half, if you like, with the second string on. But they did their bit. The first half was a flying performance by England, so fluid, starting with Paul Scholes' stunning goal early on. Robbie Fowler helped himself to one as well. And David Beckham's party piece free kick. Important match action here. Next week it's acclimatisation for Athens in a training camp.